What if the real reason, though many people struggle to live well beyond 80, isn't bad luck, weak genetics, or just aging, but a chain of hidden health forces that started working decades earlier, long before anyone felt sick? Many people over 60 believe that if they avoid major illness and take their medications, longevity will take care of itself. But there's a mystery here. Millions follow that advice and still decline rapidly after 80, while a smaller group remains steady, mobile, and mentally sharp. Something important is missing from the story, and it doesn't reveal itself all at once. Modern aging science didn't always look this way. For most of the 20th century, researchers focused on single diseases: heart disease, cancer, stroke. Longevity was treated as the absence of one fatal event. But turning points came with long-term studies like the Framingham Heart Study and the Health and Retirement Study. Scientists began to see patterns across time. Decline after 80 wasn't random. It followed predictable paths: quiet, cumulative, and often overlooked. To understand why living beyond 80 is such a challenge, you have to start in early adulthood. In the 20s and 30s, the body is resilient. Poor sleep, inconsistent nutrition, stress, and inactivity don't feel dangerous because recovery is fast. According to American Health Surveys, this is when many lifelong habits are formed: how often people move, how they manage stress, how they eat under pressure. The cause is subtle. The body adapts instead of protesting. The effect is delayed. Then the 40s arrive, and changes start quietly. Muscle mass begins to decline by about 1% per year after age 40. Insulin sensitivity drops. Inflammation markers creep upward, even in people who feel healthy. Studies show that this is the decade when silent conditions take root: low-grade inflammation, early vascular stiffness, and gradual metabolic slowdown. These don't cause symptoms yet, but they begin narrowing the margin of resilience the body will need later. After 65, a critical shift occurs that most people ignore. The body's ability to compensate weakens. Systems that once backed each other up: muscles supporting balance, cardiovascular fitness supporting brain health, metabolic flexibility supporting immunity, start depending on intentional maintenance. According to CDC data, nearly 80% of adults over 65 have at least one chronic condition, and many have two or more. The hidden danger isn't the diagnoses themselves, it's how they interact. This is where the four hidden health reasons begin to converge. The first is loss of muscle and strength, known as sarcopenia. This isn't just about weakness. Muscle is a metabolic organ. Research shows it plays a major role in glucose control, balance, and even immune response. Many seniors lose muscle gradually without noticing until a fall or hospitalization reveals it. After 80, low muscle mass is strongly associated with loss of independence and higher mortality. The cause began decades earlier with inactivity that never seemed urgent. The second hidden reason is chronic inflammation, sometimes called inflammaging. This low-level immune activation accelerates tissue damage. Studies show that elevated inflammation markers are common in older adults and are linked to heart disease, cognitive decline, and frailty. The twist most people never hear: inflammation is often driven less by age itself and more by lifelong stress, poor sleep, and metabolic imbalance. The third reason is cardiovascular stiffness. Even without diagnosed heart disease, arteries naturally stiffen with age. But lifestyle accelerates or slows this process. American studies show that vascular stiffness strongly predicts outcomes after 80, including stroke and cognitive decline. Many people pass cardiac tests yet still struggle later because stiffness affects blood flow to the brain and muscles, not just the heart. The fourth hidden reason is social and cognitive withdrawal. This surprises many people. Data from the National Institute on Aging shows that reduced social engagement is associated with faster physical and cognitive decline. The cause and effect works both ways. Subtle health changes lead people to withdraw, and withdrawal accelerates decline. After 80, isolation becomes a powerful risk multiplier. The breaking point often comes suddenly: a fall, an infection, a hospital stay. These events don't create decline, they expose it. Research shows that recovery after such events is dramatically different depending on muscle reserves, inflammation levels, cardiovascular resilience, and social support. Two people of the same age can experience the same event with completely different outcomes. The fallout affects everything. Health declines cascade into mobility loss. Mobility loss leads to reduced activity. Reduced activity worsens muscle loss and inflammation. Financial strain increases due to medical care and assistance. Lifestyle shrinks. Across millions of older Americans, the same downward spiral repeats, often starting with something that seemed minor. So what do many seniors try to do? They rely on failed fixes based on old advice. They focus only on medications. They wait for symptoms before acting. They assume decline is inevitable. Studies consistently show that while medical treatment is essential, it cannot reverse system-wide erosion that has built up over decades. The truth, revealed slowly, is that living beyond 80 isn't about avoiding one disease. It's about preserving resilience across systems. Linking this to Today matters because American health surveys show a growing gap between lifespan and health span. More people are reaching their late 70s, but fewer are thriving beyond that point. So, what can people over 60 apply right now? First, prioritize strength, not just activity. Research shows resistance and balance-focused movement has one of the strongest protective effects against late-life decline. Second, reduce hidden inflammation by improving sleep consistency, managing stress, and addressing metabolic health early, not reactively. Third, protect social and cognitive engagement intentionally. Meaningful connection is not optional after 65, it's protective. Here's the warning: grounded in evidence. Waiting until decline becomes visible sharply reduces the body's ability to recover after 80. Prevention works best when it feels early. And here's the open thought to carry into the next video. If aging outcomes are shaped decades before the breaking point, what quiet habits today are deciding how strong or fragile your future self will be? If you want the next chapter, subscribe and stay with us. We'll explore how small, overlooked changes after 60 can dramatically shift what life looks like after 80.